In this demonstration we'll see how to configure Web Application Proxy. So the first thing I need to do is I just need to come to my Active Directory domain controller and install federated services. So we'll just log into the domain controller and launch Server Manager. So what we'll do is just add roles and features. That'll bring me into the wizard, so we'll select Next at this point. And on the select the installation type, we're going to go for role-based or feature-based and select Next. Server selection will be LON DC1 and select Next. And what we want to install is we want to install Active Directory Federation Services and select our Next button. We're not going to add any additional features, so we'll select Next. Just on this little summary page here, we'll have a quick read through. We have had a quick read through, so we're happy with that. So again, we'll select Next. Then what we'll do at this point here is we shall select Install. And this is going to take a little while to install, so at this point we'll just pause the presentation and return back once the installation is complete. So what we've got is Active Directory Federation Services now installed, so we'll just select our Close button. What we've got is we've now got notifications, we'll select the notification. And on the notification, what we need to do now is we now need to do our post-deployment config, so we'll configure the Federation service on this server. This will then bring us into another little wizard that we need to fill out. So what we're going to do on this first page is we're going to select the option to create the first Federation server in this Federation server form and select our Next button. Then on the Connect to Active Directory, what we're going to do at this point here is we're fairly happy by using a datum /administrator, so I'll just select Next. That then brings us into the specify server properties. So what we're going to do here is we just need to specify to start with our SSL certificate. So what we'll do is we'll just select on our little drop down. I'm just going to go for the second one. That's one that I did earlier on. Federation service name at this point here. What we'll do is we're fairly happy with the lon-dc1.datum.com. The only thing I need to do now is just fill out my Federation service display name. I'm going to specify that as a datum corporation and select Next. That then brings us to our specify service account. And what we're going to do at this point here is just click our select button. And what we want to use here is completely against best practice. I'm just going to use administrator. And we'll select OK. And then we need to put in the password. And select Next. Next thing to do here is specify our configuration database. Now I don't have an SQL server in this environment, so I'm just going to create a database on the server by using the Windows internal database and select Next. We'll just quickly review everything. We're fairly happy with everything, so we'll select Next again. That's taken us through our prerequisite check, and as we can see, everything has passed successfully, so we're fairly happy with that. Next thing to do is just click Configure. Now this will just take a few minutes, so what we'll do at this point is we'll just pause the presentation and return back once the configuration is complete. So this is complete. We don't need to worry about this little warning here. The reason why we're getting this, it's saying that we've got a duplicate SPN. We don't need to worry. This is caused by using the server name as the Federation service name. So if you're doing this in the real world, we shouldn't have this issue because you would be using a separate Federation service name. So what we'll do at this point here is we'll select Close. And we've now successfully installed Active Directory Federation services. So now we've installed Active Directory Federated Services, we'll now move to LonServe1, and LonServe1 we're going to now configure a certificate on what will eventually be our proxy server. So what we'll do at this point here is we'll just launch up Microsoft Management Console. And we just need a file and then just add remove snap-ins, and what we want here is we want our certificate snap-in, and we want to do this for our local computer. So within here we'll just expand this up, we'll just come down to our personal, and what we want to do at this point here is we want to right click and go to all tasks, and we want to request a new certificate. And we'll select Next. We'll go for Active Directory Enrollment Policy and select Next. We're going to do this against the datum web, and we need to click information is required to enroll the certificate, and what we need to do is we just need to modify some of these settings. And the first thing we're going to go for here is subject name, full DN, and I've typed in CN equals lon-dc1.datum.com, and we'll select that. Then what we're going to do here under the alternate name, we're going to go for DNS, and we just need to put in a value here of mail.datum.com, and then we'll select add. Then we'll select OK, then we'll select enroll. Now we've done that, we'll select finish, and then if we just have a look here, we should find now we have our certificate, so we'll right click, we'll go to properties, and we'll just fill out our friendly name. And we'll call that WAP certificate and select OK. So that is now the certificate set up. Next thing to do, come into Server Manager, and within Server Manager we need to add some roles and features. So select Add Roles and Features, select our Next button. We'll go for role-based or feature-based installation. We'll do it on LonServe1 and select Next. Then within our server roles, what we need to do is we now need to start selecting our roles. So what we'll do here is we'll go for our remote access. We'll select Next. We won't bother with any additional features and select Next. We'll quickly read through the summary page and select Next. And now in our role services, what we need to do is we're going to set this up as a web application proxy. We'll add these features and select Next. Now that we're happy with all of this, we'll select Install. And this is going to go away now and install our remote access and our web application proxy. So we'll pause the demonstration at this point and return back once the installation is complete. So we'll select Close. And we've now installed our web proxy role. Next thing we need to do is we just need to come to our Notifications tab. We need to open up the Web Application Proxy wizard. So at this point we'll select Next. Then ask us information relating to our federation server. And I've specified it as lon-dc1.datum.com, specify the username and the password, and select Next. Now we need to select the certificate, and then select Next. Have a quick read through this, we're fairly happy with this, so we'll select Configure. So Web Application Proxy has configured successfully, so we can now select our Close button. And now what we've done is we've now set up certificate. We've also installed the service, set up federation services. And the next thing to do now is create an application for Outlook on the web. And this will then allow us to proxy this through. So within the wizard, we'll just select Publish. And then what that'll do is brings me into Wizard, so we'll select Next. On the pre-authentication page at this point here, as we can see here, we can either use Active Directory Federation Services, all authenticated client requests are redirect to the Federation server, or we can use pass-through. No pre-authentication is performed by the Web Application Proxy. All requests will be forwarded to the back-end server. Yep, I'm happy with that. We'll go with pass-through, and we'll select Next. Then in the publishing settings, we just need to fill out this little wizard. I've specified here Outlook on the web as the name. External URL is https://mail.datum.com/owa/. Trailing slash is required. We've then got the external certificate of lon-dc1.datum.com, and we're using a backend server URL of lon-ex1.datum.com/owa/. Now that we've done all that, we'll select Next. And then finally Publish. So as we can see here now, web application Outlook on the web is being published successfully, so we can now select Close. So that is now the server configured, certificates configured, and the federation service configured. We'll quickly just move across to our client machine. On our client machine, let's just open up Edge, and let's just try https:// and we'll go for mail.datum.com/owa. And what we should see is we should get the login screen. So at this point here, we're sitting here now, we're sitting at the login screen, and that's the end of this demonstration of configuring a web application proxy. Thank you.